Hidden Gems of DFW is a video podcast to help marketing professionals as well as newbies learn the art of marketing and finding the treasures that help a small business grow. This podcast will be filled with gems and treasures in the DFW area from some of the best guests in the business. And even if you are not in the DFW area, these treasures will work for you. And now get ready for the Hidden Gems of DFW podcast with Chris O'Connor. Hi everyone, I am Chris O'Connor, your host at Hidden Gems of DFW. I am so excited to be here today. Now this is a little different because we are doing a Zoom chat with somebody who I just recently met on Clubhouse. Now, last week we talked a little bit about Clubhouse with Donna Bender and the Donna Bender Company, and Clubhouse has really blown up, and she talked about how businesses are actually growing their businesses through Clubhouse. And I met this wonderful individual probably 2-3 months ago, something along those lines. And I've never officially met her. I officially met her this morning via Zoom. And I am so excited to introduce, I don't even know where to look, Alicia Mensis Maples. Welcome.
Welcome. It's so good to be here. I don't know why I'm saying welcome other than I'm just so excited to be
I know,
here
it's
to see your face, Chris.
It's so awesome to have you. And she is the Profit Maximizer. And boy, are you guys in for a treat today, because she is going to teach us all kinds of fun things, or at least 3 things for sure. But I'm going to wait a few minutes and we can allude to that. But I want Alicia to tell us where she was, because I know I've interviewed some other people and they've been in the corporate world, they went on their own. She has done the same. So Alicia, tell us more about yourself. Where have you come from and where are you? How did you arrive to where you are today?
Okay, so let me just pick out the highlights. I was actually raised as a missionary kid. So this whole entrepreneurship thing is not anything that I learned or anything that I was taught from family. And everything started for me. I became an entrepreneur when I was 9 years old. Before I could ever spell the word, we did not have a lot of money when I was growing up. And there were a lot of things happening in my family. And I had this keen awareness that if we had money, a lot of things in our life would change. So I was watching TV and I saw how to make homemade Christmas ornaments. I was 9 years old. I went to the kitchen. I made a bunch of homemade Christmas ornaments. We were living in Chicago at the time, and I went door to door until I sold them all. And Chris, something happened. There was this transformational moment for me where I had money in my hand and I made something and somebody paid me for that. And it really shaped the trajectory for the rest of my life. When I was 11, we moved and my mother said to me, Alicia, we need more money. What should we do? And I said, well, we should sell Avon. And so at 11, I staked out a 4 subdivision territory and told my mom that I was going to knock on every single door in the 4 subdivisions in that year. And I did. And she ended up having a 23-year, very successful Avon business that helped supplement her income. Yeah, then I went into the corporate world and it was not at all what I thought it would be, but I did enjoy a very successful corporate career. I was right below the executive level. I was a national director of training and development, did a lot in terms of leadership, mentoring and education and training, but it wasn't my passion. And so throughout my corporate career, even though I was making, I had the kind of the glory job. I was making 6 figures. I had a 5-figure bonus, but it was really golden handcuffs for me. And I knew that I wanted to do something different. So during my corporate career, I had side hustles. I had side jobs, not because I needed the money, but because I wanted that independence. And in 2007, the end of 2007, I started working on my consulting firm. In 2008, it worked out perfectly. I got laid off because of a restructuring at my company. And so that's what launched me into my own business, which I have today, which is called Brilliant SMB, as in brilliant small to medium-sized businesses. here I am 14 years later.
That's so awesome. We have a lot in common because when I was probably around the same age you were, I'm guessing 10, 11, 12, I sold and I knocked on doors and sold greeting cards. I think it was called Olympic greeting cards or something along those lines. I also was a Girl Scout and I sold Girl Scout cookies. That was back in the day when you could actually still knock on doors, right? And be safe. And I mean, I get that feeling of having that, your own money in your hand. You didn't have to ask mom or dad. And now, of course, they didn't let me spend it all in one place, but that's what I learned. I didn't even know what that word was either. That's too big of a word. I just knew that I could sell and that I had fun and I enjoyed meeting people and people loved helping you or me, especially when you're kids, because I still stop at lemonade stands on the side of the road for kids, I don't care if it's $3, $5 or $10. It's that they're doing it, right? And they're building something for their futures. So we have that in common. How awesome is that?
I love it.
And Avon, now I never sold that. People wanted me to sell that, but I think Avon is still around, aren't they? I think I have a friend who sells Avon. So I think it's an awesome way to start. I mean, it's a journey. It's kind of like when I spoke in my very first video podcast about where I come from. Now, I didn't add all those kind of good things, but I think it's important to to start young, to show kids what is possible and what they can do. And what's cool is today is the digital world, right? I mean, so many people are being so more successful and the kids are jumping on the bandwagon to build their careers. So 2008 was a tough year for a lot of people, but it was probably our best year in the business. What do you think about 2008? Because everybody thought everything crashed, but I didn't believe in that. And I just didn't believe in that. So tell me what your thoughts were.
2008 was a tough year. It was a tough year for a lot of people. And so hindsight, would I have chosen to start in 2008? I don't know, but I can tell you 2008 was a fabulous year for me. 2009 was even better. And most of the reason why, so the wave of Twitter was just starting to crest in 2008 and 2009. It was really before there were a lot of famous people that were on board. And I've always been an early adopter, and I'm sure you're probably going to get to this as a question, so this may be preemptive, but I'm going to tell you one of the most important characteristics and qualities that anyone can have as an entrepreneur is to be an early adopter. At least have the willingness to go and try things that are new and test them and see how they work. And at the end of 2009, 80% of the business that I had came from brand spanking new relationships that I had developed on Twitter, not in the face-to-face world, but on Twitter. And if I had not taken that chance back then to try this and to do this thing that was relatively new, then my business wouldn't be where it was. And in fact, many of the connections that I have today and the closest friends that I have today, I met online on Twitter. So that's my perspective on 2008 and 2009. I think that there are definitely ways to recession-proof your business, and being an early adopter is one of those ways.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. And I think that if you're not, you certainly don't want to come in on the tail end, because coming in on the tail end doesn't help. It just, you're on the tail end, the boom is over and then social media is on to the next thing. But so we're going to take a quick break here and we're going to come back, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about. I'm going to keep it a secret. So we'll be right back in just a moment. everyone, welcome back. I am Chris O'Connor, your host of Hidden Gems of DFW, the video podcast. I am so excited to have Alicia Maples. She is in South Texas, zooming in. We're excited to have her, and we're going to share with you, or I should say she's going to share with you, 3 fatal errors a business owner should avoid. So it's all yours, Alicia.
No pressure, right?
No pressure.
Okay. 3 fatal errors that entrepreneurs should avoid. Somebody said to me incidentally one time, many years ago when I was being interviewed, Alicia, how'd you get so smart? I'm going to tell you the reason. I made every mistake there was. Every mistake. I didn't have a mentor. I had some coaches, but they were bad. So I made a lot of mistakes, and I think that's why I'm so passionate about what I do in helping small business owners. All right, so let's get to it. Number 1, if there was a common theme, like if I had to pick one common theme from all the people that I've coached throughout the years, it would be this. Do not try to be all things to all people.
Yes.
It's impossible. When you try to be everything to everyone, you are actually being nothing to everyone. You can't make a brand out of that. It really impacts your ability to do focused marketing. You've got to know who your target market is, and just as important, who your target market is not. Like, there are a lot of people who, when they're working with small business owners, say, let's work on your target market persona or your ideal client avatar. And that's great, but it's just as important for you to know who you don't want to work with and who is not your ideal client as it is to know who your ideal client is. So it's very counterintuitive, and I get that, like picking a niche and a target market, but it is one of the most powerful things that you can do to accelerate your business, your profits, to amplify your branding and your messaging, is to stop trying to be everything to all people and really dig in and understand who your ideal client is. So I would say that would be the number one thing.
I would agree with you on that. And the reason I would agree with you on that is because when you first start out your business, you just want to make money. The goal is to make money, right? And I've got to put dinner on the table. I got a mortgage to pay. I got this to pay. But the problem is you spread yourself too thin, and you're going in directions that isn't even the direction you wanted to go when you started your business. And I've been down that road too. In the very beginning, we knocked on doors and hung door hangers because I thought that was the thing to do. Ooh, did I waste a lot of time? We got one job from, I think, 5,000 flyers that I hung. One job. So How many hours did it take to print that? How many hours did it take to hit the neighborhoods? How many hours? It wasn't worth it. So absolutely. So what's your next fatal error?
Another fatal error. Okay, give me a second to think, because we're doing this spontaneously, not pre-planned.
Yep.
Another fatal error. Okay, I got it. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Not firing some of your clients. And people are like, Alicia, that's crazy. So I teach a class called Build Your Wealth by Firing Your Clients. It's something that I talk about a lot. And here's the thing. If you have been in business long enough, what I'm about to say next is it's going to resonate with you. You're going to go, oh yeah, I totally get what Alicia is saying right now. Not all money is good money, and not all clients are good clients. In fact, some clients, no matter how much they pay you, are just not worth it. Yeah. And so if you have been in business, I would say for at least 5 years, what you said is right on track, Chris. When you're first starting off, you're just taking on anybody and everybody that you can as a client because you're trying to get cash flow in the door. And what ends up happening, and this is like my sweet spot with clients. So I work with usually service professionals, and they have an established client base, but they're in this place where their dream and what they wanted for their life when they started their business is not happening. Like, they are not seeing their kids. They are not spending time with their family. They are not taking vacation. They're on this hamster wheel of their business and they can't get off. And the reason for that is because they have clients that they need to fire. And so what happens is when you fire, terminate, remove, whatever word you want to use, your most challenging clients, I call them your C-level clients. These are the clients that they don't pay. You have to chase them down for payments. They don't respect your time. They don't respect your knowledge. They're super demanding. When you remove those people from your client base, all of a sudden your time and your energy, your creativity are freed up. And it gives you the time and the energy to spend with your all-star clients. I mean, these are the people that love you. They're going to give you referrals. They're waiting to pay you. They want more of you, but you don't have the time to give to them because you're always paying attention to these squeaky wheels over here. And so I would say fatal error number 2 would be not firing these clients that are wasting your time and your energy, so that you can build your wealth by working with your all-star clients.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And, as a business owner too, I think it's important that you need to look at who's doing work for you. And rather than keep paying that check every month, if they're not giving you what you need or helping grow your business, I think you need to learn how to get rid of them too. And I feel that when you first start in business and you've been in business 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you tend to have some family members or cousins or aunts or uncles who do maybe some work for you. And I have found that's just not a good thing, because the expectation is going to be lower and you may not get the results that you want to get. So I would be careful with that, unless they're a go-getter and they really do produce. What are your thoughts on that?
I 100% agree with that. Working with family, it's very rare that can be successful. You've got to set up extremely clear boundaries and expectations for work performance, what's okay, what's not okay. I've worked with a lot of husband and wife teams over the years who've gotten in business together. And that's a really difficult scenario as well, because when you're married to the person that you work with, work doesn't end, it comes home with you. So it can be really problematic. I don't know very many people who have made family businesses succeed without a whole lot of intervention and effort. Yeah, 100%
definitely.
agree.
So we've got just a few minutes left. What's your third fatal tip that you think people should know that could help them move past, or you tell me what your third tip is?
So what's coming to mind for me is more of a mindset issue. I mean, there are a lot of things that are popping into my head, but I think it's important to address a mindset issue. And that is this. Everything that you want for your business and that you want for your life is on the other side of your comfort level.
Yes.
And so if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, you've got to, instead of avoiding discomfort and avoiding things that make you fearful, you've got to learn how to lean into that. And I'm not talking about the kind of fear like, gee, it's night and I'm a woman and I'm alone in a parking garage and there's a strange person over there. Maybe I shouldn't walk that way. I mean, that's like legit fear. That's your instincts telling you you're in danger. The problem is our brain doesn't always do a good job of differentiating what is real danger versus what is perceived danger. And so as an entrepreneur, you've got to get really good at leaning into the things that make you uncomfortable and the things that might cause you to be afraid. Because when you learn to push through those and overcome those, you're going to find the things that you want on the other side. And this is what a good coach, this is what a good consultant is able to help you with, is how to have that mindset and push through and stay accountable anyway. When you get to the other side, that's where you learn more about yourself, you build strength, you build resiliency. But because my perspective in what I do with small businesses is about maximizing profit, this is also where you're going to find your differentiators, because most people are not willing to lean into discomfort. Most people are not willing to lean into their fears. And so they stay pretty status quo. And one of the things that you absolutely want to avoid as an entrepreneur is becoming irrelevant. That requires leaning into the new, leaning into the uncomfortable, and leaning into the things that you're afraid of.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree because, my life changed a year ago, right? It's been almost a little over a year and 13 months. And I was a little scared. Let me tell you what, I was scared. I was comfortable. I was building a business. We'd gotten it to 1.6, maybe a little higher. I don't know. But I walked away from everything, and it was probably the second scariest thing that I've done in my life. The first one was I jumped into that business and didn't have that weekly paycheck to fall back on, but it was the best decision of my life. So this past year has taught me a lot too, that I can do it again. And I think our audience can do it too. You have to find the right people, whether it be Alicia, like the coach, to push you through your challenges and your awkwardness, because sometimes people are going to say, oh, you can't do that. But I promise you, when you get that word can't out of your vocabulary and say, I can, it might not be perfect the first time, but I know that all of you can, everyone can. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So I would love to sit and chat a little longer with Alicia about this I can mental attitude, but we've got to take a quick break. And then we will continue with that conversation and share with you what her treasure is. Of course, now I can't really take it out of here, but we're going to show you what her treasure is in the treasure chest. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I am Chris O'Connor, your host of Hidden Gems of DFW, and we have been chatting with Alicia Maples all the way down in the valley, way South Texas. I am so excited to have you here today. I've learned so many things from you, and I hope our people out there who are watching this have learned a few things. But now is my favorite time. It is all about the treasure chest. So Alicia is going to share with us what her treasures are, and she has more than one. So Alicia, share your treasures with us.
Okay, I don't know if more than one is allowed, but I do have more than one.
It is
Let me hold
allowed.
this up to the camera. Okay, good. This is called a clinging cross, and it probably looks a little weird, like it's squishy. It's that way on purpose because it allows you to hold it in your hands. I don't know if you can see that, but it
Yes.
just very snugly fits into your hand, and it provides a sense of comfort. I'm a Christian, and a friend gave this to me when I was going through a really hard time, and I absolutely love it. It's just this wonderful thing that I can hold that reminds me of where my true north is. And then I have two other things that I brought. So I lost my father, unfortunately, 5 years ago. My mother found a ring that he gave to her. My dad is from Colombia, and my mom is just like Midwest from the middle of Illinois. And so they were a really cute couple. Anyway, this is a ring. I'll put it on so that you can see. And it has emeralds from Colombia in it.
Beautiful.
She just found it and gave that to me. So that was very special. And then my mother, she's 88 years old. And I know, I'm so blessed to still have her. And she was going through some boxes and she actually found a ring that she bought for herself in the 50s. And so I'm going to hold that up so that you can see it. It's just got all kinds of it's flowers with little pearl things in it. And I just love the idea that my mother actually wore this in the 50s. So when I'm wanting to feel close to my dad and my mom, I wear both at the same time, and love that.
I
So
am
yeah,
right there with
these
you.
are my
That is
treasures.
so awesome because this ring here on my hand is from my mother, and this bracelet is hers, and I don't leave the house without either one of them. So I
Oh,
get that. There's something that's precious to you and something that's so important to you that, really grounds you. It grounds me. And if ever I get stressed, I start rubbing the stone or looking at it. I love that. What did you call it?
it's called the Clinging Cross.
That is so
You can
cool.
order them online, and they come in different colors. But yeah,
I might have to
I
look
love
that
it.
up because that is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode today. We talked about a lot of different things
We
and
did.
the mistakes that a business owner should not make. A couple of them I'm just going to reiterate. One of them is
Mhm.
don't be everything to everyone because you will just stress yourself out. You will just go crazy. You have to narrow it down. And I know that's hard when you're new in business or even when
Mhm.
you've been in business for a while. You truly have to narrow it down because not everyone is going to need what you have to offer. And then be an early adopter to social media. Alicia and I met on Clubhouse. That's how we met. I wasn't super early adopter. She was, but we ran across each other, and we have a Google My Business room with another person, Lenny Rowell, and actually it's called Google Business Profile now, but it's a growing club, and we'd love to have you join us. So I know we talked about a lot of things, Alicia. So is there anything else you want to add to what we discussed today?
I would say, just to add, one of the benefits to not being everything to everyone is that when you know your target market, when you're very specific about your niche and who it is you're going after. I was having this conversation with somebody earlier today. Everything falls into place. You're able to speak their language. You know what they want. You know their pain points. You are able to gear your marketing exactly to that person. And it's more of a laser effect instead of casting that wide net, hoping that you'll catch anything. It's very counterintuitive, but it's one of the most powerful things that you can do for your business. So I wanted to add that. And also say what everybody should be doing is they should be following you, Chris, and they should be subscribing to Hidden Gems.
Yes, they should. I totally agree with that. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. I know we are on completely different opposite ends of Texas, basically. And I enjoy you and learn so much from you. I enjoy being on Clubhouse with you in Google My Business Tips and Tricks group. We're there every Thursday morning. Of course, we won't be there on Thanksgiving or during the holidays, but every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. And we answer all the questions, good, bad, or indifferent. We're there to help you grow. And thank you again, Alicia, for coming today. Unfortunately, it's time for us to end the podcast. Sad, sad. But I want people to know how to reach you. So how can they find Alicia Maples?
The best way to find me is on my website. So I can be found on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, but honestly, the best place to start is my website. And that is brilliant, like a light bulb, SMB, as in small to medium sized business.com. Brilliant SMB.com. And there you'll find my blog, you'll find information about me, you'll find whatever specials I have going on, as well as my membership community, information about my membership community called the Profit Masters, where we've got world-class training, access to me, some one-on-one support, and all kinds of really excellent things. So brilliantsmb.com.
That's awesome. I am just really grateful and thankful that you were here today to share some mistakes that business owners shouldn't make. But I'm telling you, we all make them. If you don't make them, you don't learn, right? If it's going to be great from the get out, then good for you. But that doesn't happen in real life. And where can you turn to for help? I'm here. I know that sometimes you all struggle and you are challenged, but you are worth it. Keep going. Don't quit on the 1 yard line, because I promise you, you're just about hitting a touchdown. And every time you feel like quitting, don't. Keep on going. I've had to do that. I've had to listen to my own advice this last year. Many times I wanted to quit, but I don't. I keep on going. I'm here to help you. I can help you with your Google My Business. I can help you with your website. I can consult with you. However you need my help, I'm here to help you grow your small business. So thanks so much, Alicia. And until next time, everybody, we'll see you then. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Thanks for watching and listening to Hidden Gems of DFW with Chris O'Connor. Don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to connect with me. I love hearing your successes.